Hi everyone, my name is Daria Baines and I am a civil engineer and proud member of the Street Engineer. So today I'll be explaining how to carry out setting out in construction and why it is so critical in any project. Imagine building a whole structure only to realize that it's in the wrong position and place. That is exactly what setting out prevents. So, what exactly is setting out? So setting out is simply the process of taking what's on paper, which is your drawings, and transferring them onto the actual ground. Now, before you even start the actual process, preparation is key. You would firstly need to understand your drawing properly, identify site boundaries, set a benchmark, and also make sure your equipment is ready. Because if you start off confused, the entire project will be affected. So moving on to the actual setting out process, here's a brief explanation of how it works. So firstly, you have to establish control points. So a control point is simply a fixed reference point on site that has known positions or coordinates. In simpler terms, control points are basically your anchors, and everything you measure will be based on them, so they must remain undisturbed and accurate. So the next thing you need to do is mark your baseline. So a baseline is simply a straight reference line drawn in between control points. Think of it as your starting guide. All other measurements are taken from this reference line in order for them to be aligned. So thereafter, you can set out your center lines. So center lines represent the middle of structural elements such as walls and columns. So instead of marking the edges immediately, we first mark our centers in order to make sure that the building's position is symmetrical and aligned properly. So after that, we can use our drawings to transfer our measurements from paper to the actual ground and use pegs to show exact positions of corners and edges. Finally, we'd have to check the levels because it's not just about position, it's also about elevation. You have to ensure that the height and the depth are correct. So at this point, you might be wondering, why is this important? So it's important because, firstly, it prevents costly mistakes, ensures proper alignment, and saves us time during the construction process. So in simpler terms, it basically just keeps our project on track. However, there are some common mistakes to avoid, such as misreading your drawings, using wrong reference points, not double-checking measurements, and also ignoring level differences. So in conclusion, setting out is basically the foundation before the foundation. When done correctly, sets the entire project up for success. But if done poorly, will lead to serious issues in the future. Thank you for listening, and to all young engineers out there, keep learning, stay curious, and don't be afraid to be hands-on, because that's where all the learning comes from.